As promised, we are back. Let's go click on the Python thing here. Let's check this. Make sure Chairman Mao still, in fact, has the same value. It is 55. Is cheat engine still in sync? You can see, if you want to be pedantic about it, you can jump back to the previous video, come back, or the address is still the same, yada, yada, yada. We're not screwing around. There's no video tricks here. What is Chairman Mao? Damn it, we're doing it again. Chairman Mao. That's not what we want to do at all. But we haven't hit enter yet, so it hasn't evaluated this. We'll go over to cheat engine, change this to something. I don't know. We can't change it to Daffy Duck or something like that. So we will change it to just I don't know. That's real boring. Just I don't know. We'll change it to 777. I hate Vegas, but apparently it's a lucky number. All right, 777. There you go. So we talked all about the pointer scanner and all the things we can do. What can we do with the pointer scanner? It's really quite limited. We can resync the modules. Don't give a shit about that. We can go to File. We can go to New. We can go to File. We can go to Open. Stuff we'll get into later. We can go to pointer scanner. Are we going to do a new scan? We're absolutely not going to do that. We're going to do a rescan. What are we going to do with the rescan? So pointer scanner. Again, this is 0.ptr in case anyone's sort of missing that. This is the saved list of pointers that it found when we first scanned for this address right here with 5 levels of indirection. Click on pointer scanner, go to rescan memory. What's this menu right here? It says, what do you want to search for? The first thing this menu asks us is, are we searching for a new address because you've restarted the application or forced it to be loaded to a new thing? Or are you scanning for the value on the far right side? So let's go over that just a little bit. The address to find. What are you scanning for? We could be scanning for this, which is, we're only going to consider this column right here. We'll cancel that. The address to find could be the left side of this column right here. You can see, there's a memory location in this last column, and then there's a value over here. If we go to pointer scanner and we go to rescan memory and we do address to find, it's going to search based on the left side of this last column. It's going to search the address right over here. If we go to pointer scanner and we go to rescan memory and we select the value to find radio button, give it a type, we're just going to leave it at 4 bytes. We could enter whatever we want. It's going to scan the value over here on the right side of the last column. There's an important distinction to make, and it allows you to sort of shortcut a lot of what you're going to be doing with the pointer scanner. Does it always work? No, but for our purposes here, we're just going to sort of screw around with it, and we're going to assume that it works. We'll maybe go over, I'm sure before this whole series is over, we will try and apply this sort of shortcut, and we will be completely screwed because we're applying this shortcut, and then we'll sort of dive into why that's not a good idea. But this is what you'll see by default. We're not going to deal with the address on the left side. We're going to go to the value right here. What is the value we want to find? It is 777. We can see, let's just sort of grab this thing and drag it down a little bit. What is 777? It's quite a bit. So we will go to pointer scanner, rescan, value defined. We're just going to set it to 777. It looks like everything has 77 here, but again, remember there's 14 million records, some massive amount of data. Just dragging this here and bringing it down, scrolling down, things like that. I mean, there's probably 10 million records in this list that don't actually point, with all the levels of indirection considered, that don't point to the value of 777. So we're going to say value defined, 4 bytes, 777, and then we're just going to ignore all this crap down here. Why? Because this is going to get into sort of stuff like Lua filter functions and stuff like that. It's not something we're going to deal with. Value defined, 777. We can see all these top level results right here have 777. We will click OK. It's going to ask us for a new name. What are we going to name this thing? Well, when I do a rescan, I generally kind of try to name it based on sort of the branch of what I'm doing. What are we doing? We're rescanning based on a value. In general, this is just my rule of thumb, but when I'm rescanning based on a value, what I do is I use the previous name from whatever the pointer scan value was, or whatever the address value was, and then I add an alphanumeric identifier. So I'll do 0A. If we were, let's cancel this real quick. doing pointer scanner, we're rescanning. If we had checked it or clicked this radio button here, address to find, and we had typed in, some ridiculous address here and hit OK, and then it would ask us what we were going to save this file as, I would have entered 1. I would have incremented this by 1. Again, this is just an in-house rule that I use, but then when I scan by value, on the right side of this equation, what I do, again, personal preference, click that radio button. What's the value we're scanning for? It is in fact 777. Click OK. It's going to say what do we want to save it as. I save it as 0A. And what does that do for me? It enables me to sort of just by a quick visual notation, it allows me to go back and say I really screw up on one of these steps or something, and I have to reopen one of these previous scans. Because I don't want to redo the whole thing. And again, that's something we'll get into later. But it allows me to know that anything that has sort of an alphabetic appendation or a letter appended to a number, if you want to be sort of pedantic about it, that instantly tells me that what is 0A. 0A is the result of the address scan I did with the scan of 0, but then I filtered by some value, and did I get what I want? I don't know because I haven't actually filtered it yet. But again, this sort of naming scheme right here tells me, what am I opening back up? If we were to just name them all 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you'd have no way to know whether you're filtering by address or by value. So just sort of adopting this little rule right here saves you a heap of time when you're trying to go back and reverse engineer and things like that. So we're going to just stick with the convention that I have. We are in fact filtering. We're going to cancel this just to sort of prove the point one more time. Go to pointer scanner, rescan memory. What are we doing? If we were filtering by address, we would name this thing 1. If we were filtering by value to find, which we are, 777, hit OK. What was the last scan we did? It was 0. And we are going to name this 0A because the value scan is associated with the address scan, and that's as much as we're going to say about that. We're going to hit save. It scans. I'm thinking we're going to cut this way down. What do we got? 9 million. That's pretty damn good. So what did we chop off? 5 million results? 4 million results? Something to that effect. So what are we going to do? How are we going to approach this? Oh, well, that's a totally unreasonable thing. It is a totally unreasonable thing. So now what we do is the name of the game, which is essentially what we're going to start doing right now, is we're going to start repeating the process of what we did in the Shadowrun game when we were searching for the value of karma. We're going to start screwing around with the value in a controlled way, using the application that we're attached to, which in this case happens to be Python, so that we can sort of filter out some of these crazy results. Why is this pointing to 777? Why is this pointing to 777? Why is that pointing to 777? We have no idea. They're just bit patterns. They're just bit patterns. So by having absolute control over this value, let's just read it again. We're not even going to assign it anything. We're just going to tell Python, check the value of this variable. Let's see what happens. You can see there is some nonsense going on over here. Values changed, values came back. Now they're 7.7. Scroll down a little bit. We're going to grab this, scroll down. Probably doing tens of thousands of records each little page here. But you can see that there are some blanks, just like like right here as an example. What is this? It's nothing. This is nothing. This is some value that clearly does not represent what's going on over here. So what are we going to do? I'm going to go back up here. This is just, this is not going to reduce the pointer count by a huge amount. Maybe we'll go down to 9 million or something, but we're going to go to pointer scan. Just as an example, we haven't, didn't change the value in Cheat Engine, didn't do anything over here. All we did was tell this interpreter, hey, read that memory location, read that bit pattern, get that value or the bit pattern of that memory location, return it in Python, convert it to some human readable way. And all we're going to do is just go to the pointer scanner. We're going to rescan for memory. 777. We're not going to change the thing. We're just going to hit OK. Let's see what happens. We're going to name it 0B. See what happens. Scan some memory. That's not bad. So, again, that was a very minimal change. All we did was read from a value, but we've proven right there that just reading from a value, you don't even have to modify it. All you got to do is read it. Maybe you hover your mouse over it in a more, like in an actual game, you hover your mouse over it, screw around, change a menu, open a menu, close a menu, things like that. those are the sort of things that are going to modify pointers, and you can use all that sort of basic stuff to your advantage. So let's get a little more crazy. Let's just make sure that that Python is seeing this as Chairman Mao. It is 777. Let's just make it 123. We're again, are we going to sort of really start screwing or zipping around here? I don't know. We're going to speed this up a little bit maybe. So we got the value 123. It's reflected over here. Still have the same value. Pointer scan, rescan. What do we got? The value to find. We're gonna make it 123. Still 4 bytes. Do 123. Some totally ridiculous or some bit pattern that is completely different than 777. You can see 123 is already reflected in a lot of these pointers over here. Click save 0C. We've already enumerated Y. So how are we gonna do this? It's not really coming down a whole lot. So what are we gonna do? Well, what we're gonna do is we're going to take advantage of the fact that the Python has, we're going to take advantage of all the black magic that Python does. So when we reassigned a variable in the previous videos, it would destroy the memory location that was associated with it. Then it would immediately reallocate a new location, assign it to the same variable name, then assign the value that we told it to that new memory location. How's that going to help us? Well, it's going to help us because a lot of these pointers probably are pointing to some sort of internal crap that Python cancel that is doing under the hood as far as memory management, reference counting. Again, that whole black magic, black box thing that we talked about. There's a whole lot of nonsense going on behind the scenes, and by reassigning the variable, we're going to sort of basically forget about the memory location that's associated with this variable right now, and then we're going to reallocate a new memory location for this variable, stuff some constant value, assign that memory location to this variable, and again, there's 5, 6, there's 5 levels. We're just going to say 5. There are 5 levels of indirection going on here, so by reassigning this variable, there are massive amounts of things that are going to go on under the hood that should really, really, really whittle this down from way below 9 million. I'm thinking, in the realm of like a couple 100,000. So let's see if we're right. If we are not right, then we're going to have to sort of redo some of this stuff. Let's see. We want this to be recognizable if we have to. 952103. See what happens. None of this stuff has changed. What's that about? Well, maybe these pointers are pointing to stale addresses. This hasn't changed. And we know why. Because again, lots of black magic under the hood. This variable is no longer associated with this address right here. But again, what we did with the pointer scanner was we found pointers, we tracked down levels of indirection, and it was pointing to values that we were able to control. So none of these variables seem to have the value, but we're going to scroll down very, very slowly here. Oh, we're getting into some invalid results. Keep scrolling down real slow. Let's see if we can dig. Oh, what would we have there? Were those crazy results? I don't know. There's some big numbers sort of popping up there, but again, it's hard to, with this many results, you just go one page, and when you grab this and you scroll down, I mean, you're not just looking at like a few results. You're looking at 10,000 results. Whatnot. Let's see if we can maybe get some a little more. Oh, I don't know. Kind of look like we had something there. Is this how you're going to do it? No, we're just sort of screwing around here, messing around. See if we can illustrate these concepts in a more complex way. Let's go way down to the bottom. I don't know. We can cut to the chase here. Before we run out of time, we will go to the pointer scan, or we will go back to Cheat Engine. We'll do a new scan. Say 952103. See what we get. We get one result. Delete this record because that address is stale. Double click here. What in fact is the value of Chairman Mao according to Python? It is 952103. Let's change this to 12345. So that's at least somewhat recognizable. What is the value of Chairman Mao now? It is 12345. We have found the new value for this variable, and we're going to end this, and then we'll come back and we will filter this pointer scanner, these 9.5 million results. We will filter it down based on the value of this variable.